Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 2 of In the Darkness, Lurks. But Lurks what? Apparently drow, according to last session. Last session our players were captured at various different times in their lives. They were captured and enslaved, but you were all brought to this particular outpost of the drow, Velkynvelve, where you were all lobbed in a cave and basically got to meet each other and some of your fellow prisoners. And the episode culminated in you being fed a prisoner soup, containing one of the members of your cell that was summarily executed for being a bit of a twat. Or just as an example to you all to warn you not to step outside the lines. Unfortunately, Darth Callisto is ill today and is unable to make it, but we will soldier on without him bravely and try not to get his character killed. However, playing with me today, I have A-Game.
Hello, I'm A-Game. I'm playing as Garrick Hanrock, an Orc Druid.
I have Bruno.
Hey everyone, here I am, and I am playing Zoroaster, a paladin. He is a summer eldritch.
I don't know if it happened to anybody else, Bruno, but I heard you're playing.
Hi everyone, welcome to my ASMR introduction. My name is Bruno. Today I will be playing Zoroaster. He is a summer eldritch paladin.
That's better. You cut out on the name of your character, the class, and the race.
Zoroaster, eldritch paladin.
Josh.
I'm Josh. I will be playing Sky Silveron, who is an Aberrant Mind Soul Sorcerer and a Winter Elegant Elf.
And I have James.
Hi, I am playing Octavian Oberlin, a half-elf rogue.
Cool. So, as I said, we left off with a bit of soup. Can anybody remember the name of the guy in the soup?
Jim Jar.
Ah, good, yes. Jim Jar soup.
And now he's in the jar.
Yes, he is. It is a jar of Jim Jar, in fact. And, well... Oh, roll 20? What up? Hold me a second, please. I am loading. Aha! There we go. Yeah, and so, you found yourselves eating Jim Jar soup, down in the Underdark. We're not in the water. I don't know why it's doing water noises. It's catching up with me. There we go. Hand over to you. The soup has just been served, right? And she walked off.
Oh, I'll look at Sky. And as our newfound friends, if I remember correctly, we made a little bit of a bond last session. I have been trapped before, but I think they're really trying to make that soup taste disgusting this time.
Have we eaten already?
No, you haven't. We left off with you seeing bits of rock gnome floating up and down, and realizing that Jim Jar's body was in the soup. That was exactly the moment we departed at. And the longer staying prisoners, your fellow prisoners, are all sort of moving back a little and looking over to see how you will react.
Octavian is going to step forward and say, "Where's the bowl?"
The eldest sort of looks over and, I think it's in the soup. Just dig around. We'll find it.
Octavian will walk up to it and try and dig the bowl out, and kind of to himself, but kind of to everyone, say, I take no pride in this, but I need to eat after what I've been through. And Jim Jar being a betting man, I'll put him a bet right now. If I can stomach him and keep him down, he has to forgive me for the sins I'm about to commit by consuming what's left of him. And if I can't keep him down, then he can hold me to some...
Just eat it.
You see Sareth the drow letting out a quiet sort of snarky laugh, and you see him sort of step backwards into the shadows. Who's got the highest passive perception? Who's my wisdom character? Because I know it's Darth, but who's next? A-Game, what's your passive perception?
13.
Cool. Josh, you were gonna say?
I was just gonna say I've got 14.
Yeah. So go ahead and give me a perception check. Still Sky.
23.
23. Cool. Yeah, you notice him sort of slyly pull something out from behind his back and sort of he holds his hand a little bit and he takes a bite and then he sort of puts his hand back down to his side.
I will take note, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
Right.
Namea wanders over to join him and sits at his feet. Octavian, as you pick up the bowl, you manage to dig it out. An eyeball drops out of it. You've got mostly juice.
Good enough. Octavian begrudgingly will consume it.
Yeah, as you take a sip of this, do you know what? It's not all that bad. It doesn't taste bad. It's a little meaty. It's a bit like beef stew, really. It's rock gnome stew. It's a lot better than yesterday. Bruno's loving this. forget Zaraster. Bruno is loving this. Nope, you're not
Well, I'm muted. That's why I'm
you're
muted.
not a fan of cannibalism.
Octavian's gonna keep that to himself. Gonna not gag, but put the bowl back down where someone else can take it and kind of step away.
It's not really cannibalism if it's a rock gnome, is it? It's a little bit like eating goat.
I want to look over at Sky and Sky, you recognize what I'm trying to do here. I gently point towards my head to open our.
Yeah, I'll open.
Brain talk me, bitch.
Yeah, I'll open a telepathic chat with him.
Is it weird that the one with the best kept hair was the first one to eat that, or is it just me? What are they feeding these nobles out there? Each other?
Sky's face is literally like.
I'm not saying we haven't eaten really weird stuff. I mean, we've been down here for how long, but that's kind of weird, right?
I think the people who are not accustomed to live like this probably crack the easiest. I think that's what it is. He probably, was thinking it was lamb stew.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally not judging him at all. I mean, I totally get it. I would do the same, even though I probably won't. But just thought it was a bit weird. And I'll let you finish. But as I'm doing that, I say, Octavian, I am really proud of you for doing that. And then I'll look back at Sky and.
I don't think there is anything to be proud of in what I just did, but I guess I appreciate the sentiment.
Give me the bowl.
It's all yours.
As Garrick takes the bowl, he'll kind of try to aim into the soup to try to get some pieces of meat because I don't know if the next meal is gonna have as much nutrients. So I might as well get ready.
Yeah. Again, you take a mouthful, and do you know what? It's not half bad. It's pretty tasty. Meat to it.
I'm gonna walk over to the drow who was slyly eating food.
As you wander over, bear with me. I'll come to you in a moment. Garrick, you suddenly feel a strange crunch. And yeah, do you know that bit of the chicken that you get to that's sort of, it's not bone, but it's it's not good. It's gristly, right? You get to that and sort of eventually you realize you're just gonna have to pull that bit out, right? And as you pull that bit out, you sort of look at it and you have absolutely no idea what it is. It's definitely, well, unless rock gnomes are built in weird ways, it's definitely not rock gnome. It just looks wrong. Really wrong. Octavian, I need a con save, please.
Con save. Ooh, that's a 3.
You feel very drowsy. You begin to feel sleepy, and as Vala sort of moves up over there, she says, "Excuse me, are you done with the bowl? I'm hungry."
Fine, take it.
She leans in and sort of takes a big bowl and very quickly drinks up, and soon other people begin to come up. Sky has obviously wandered off to Sareth. Is Sarasta eating?
Any plants, like herbs, maybe
Yeah,
some
yeah, Bruno,
wilted away vine,
Yeah, there's 14 marrows and a kangaroo growing in the corner. No.
the dusty remnants of a wheat.
You can eat stool.
Yeah, that's not gonna
It's a
happen.
mushroom.
I would literally kill this entire cave if Stu gets killed. And myself after. This is Oraster's thoughts. God, that's really weird. But I feel like if I don't eat, I have no way of escaping. Because I'm gonna be weak and looking around other than the very attractive, hunky orc man. There is nobody else to stand up for these people, so I will grab a bowl.
As you do,
disgusting
Prince
soup.
Durandil remarks in Elvish. You speak Elvish? You must speak Elvish, right? It's your primary language.
Yeah, almost surely.
Sort of
I actually don't. I speak Common, Dwarvish, and Undercommon. I'm sorry. I've been here for too long.
The
I forgot
that,
Elvish.
The elf that don't. The elf
forgot.
that don't elf.
I just forgot.
Sure. Yeah, Prince Durandil remarks in Elvish for anybody who understands Elvish to hear. Oh, that's quite repulsive, isn't it? Oh well, we have to eat to survive. And he leans over to take the bowl from you. Garrick, I'll take a con save, please. And Sky, as you move over to towards Sareth, Vala bumps into your back as she wanders back towards the corner.
That's 4. Amazing.
Yeah, you begin to feel really drowsy. You're really tired. Like, you need to sleep.
But you said that she bumped into me.
She did. She sort of bumped into your back.
What, like
She's a
on
halfling.
purpose?
Give me an insight check as you turn around.
So, guys, I think they've put drugs in Jim Jam soup.
Jim Jam. Jim Jar. Also, I'm really sorry, guys, for the music keeping cutting out. For some reason, Roll20 have removed the loop function from music. Somebody sue them.
What am I rolling again?
An insight check. I will try and do my best to remember to keep looping it.
21?
21. No, she appears to be almost drunk on the food. She's looking very tired. Yeah, from what you gather, perhaps she's about to fall asleep on her feet and is trying to get to the corner as quickly as possible. That's it.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, you come over to the drow. Are you saying anything?
Yeah. How do I say this? I can't just be like, oh, what you got there?
You can if you want.
I can't.
Nemea has sidled up to him, and she's sort of leaning into him.
I kind of look at him like unsure of how to approach this, but I'll just come out and say, "What are you eating?"
Dinner. Would you like to share? There's plenty to go around. If you're a friend.
Why would I be your friend?
Why wouldn't you be? The benefits are delicious. reaches out and takes another bite. He does it quite surreptitiously, but you catch a glance. It looks like some sort of fungi, some sort of mushroomy thing.
Oh no, he's eating Stool's babies. I'll
We just take a moment to acknowledge what you've just said. Oh, poor Stool. What did Stool do to deserve such abuse?
All right, that's
Poor
his
Stool.
kids.
Look
Oh,
at
Stool.
him. He's so
Yeah.
cute.
Very cute. Anyways, I'll just say to him, why would I trust you when, given the chance, you'd go back to being what they are?
But I, you've decided that for me, have you? Given the betrayal by my people of me, leaving me down here, treating me like Iblis. For what reason?
I don't know if your sensitivity is okay, but sometimes you keep
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
trying to
words.
sort it out.
Sorry.
Treating me like Iblis down here with you. Would I just go back to being up there? Yes, of course I would. But in the meantime, we'll do what we have to survive. Is the soup not to your satisfaction?
How did you get those mushrooms?
I did a favor for somebody that I don't like. Who can get me things.
And who's this friend?
Sure.
And what?
So Shaw is
The drow warrior. Yeah.
One of the two drow warriors. Yeah. He's the one that you were asked to humiliate.
What favors do you do for him? Her? Them?
Him.
They? Him.
Yeah, that would be telling, wouldn't it? I watch. Let's leave it at that.
But if he does favors for you, why aren't you out of here yet?
Oh, I don't think he holds that kind of sway anymore.
What do you want from me?
Now we're talking. What are you willing to offer?
This is weird courtship. What am I willing to offer? How about this? That depends on what you're willing to give me.
Tomorrow, while we are working at the lake, you will stumble and fall and spill your bucket down by a guard's feet. In exchange, dinner tonight and tomorrow, and for you and your brother.
What would that do?
That would be telling.
I'm not gonna get myself beat by the guards just for a few mushrooms.
At this point, Nemea sort of leans over his shoulder and, I will! I'll do it! I'll do anything! And he sort of looks at her and, quiet girl. We're talking. Besides, you are no actress.
Wait, was I?
He said, besides, you are no actress to Nemea. As in, she wouldn't be able to pull it off properly. She looks miserable and sort of slumps back down to her knees at his feet.
I'll stare at him for a few seconds, dead in the eyes, like a very serious look, and then I'll walk away.
Okay.
And as I walk away,
As you walk away, you will notice something. First of all, almost everybody is laying wherever they are, asleep.
no, they have been drugged. They've been roofied. Huh. Oh man, I've got no one to talk to.
Got Zoroaster. He did indeed.
He's
I don't
asleep,
think.
isn't he?
Oh, did Zoroaster eat?
Oh no, he didn't take me.
I don't think so. Zoroaster, did you eat? Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah. But you didn't give me a con save.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a con save. Let's find out if you're asleep.
Oh, what?
A 1! Yeah, everybody's asleep.
No. Oh my god, you actually jinxed me because I literally got a 1. I wish to re-roll because the DM cursed me, clearly.
You can reroll if you want.
I'll knock myself out, don't worry.
You can reroll if you want.
What was the highest roll between the three of us?
6. That was good. Yeah. Well, admittedly, Sky rolled an 88 on a T100, but I don't know what that was for.
I roll a 1d100 at the beginning of every episode of every campaign.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never seen that. Anyway, yeah, everybody's asleep.
Great, that's not unnerving. I guess I'll just go and kind of slump down next to Zora's unconscious body and just kind of like watch over the room.
Okay. Are you going to try and stay awake all night until somebody wakes up?
No, I just want to like. I know it's obviously very dark and I can't really see much of anyone.
You can see everything you can see.
Well, yeah, I know, but like, you know, I probably can't see them. They're probably around the corner.
I don't know how far you can see.
Well, I can see them.
If you can
but
see
they're
them,
also-
then you can see them.
All right, then I guess I'll just stare at this guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just kind of like watching his movements. You know?
After a little while, Nemea goes over to the soup. She takes a bowl and she sort of gestures towards you as if offering it to you. Not thirsty? Not hungry? Not even just a little bit?
Is that this one?
It is. Sorry, I meant to bring her over. I don't know why I'd let go.
I'll just look at her and like my eyes dart between her and the bowl, and then back to her, and I just look at her and be like, "You need it more than I do."
There's enough to share.
Then go give it to
share.
her.
And she picks up what appears to be a whole hand of the gnome, and she sort of waves hello with it at you.
If I could use spells right now, she'd be blasted across the room.
If she could use spells, apparently she wouldn't be here, according to her. So she says.
I'll just like look in the opposite direction.
Okay.
I don't want to like deal with her right now.
She drinks it and she walks off, and she goes to sleep at Sareth's feet. Sareth looks across the room at you. Just you and I. Cute, but I'm tired. Good night. And he steps back into the corner. Your ears are filled with the sounds of torture coming from a nearby chamber.
I guess I'll lie down and try and get some sleep. I'm not in the business to drug it myself.
Okay. Yeah, this is the second night you go without food. Give me a con save with disadvantage.
Thought it was straight now.
Eat, good man, eat. Can't have my brother die.
I can't be eating Jim Jar soup.
Gotta eat something, sweetie. Or you're gonna die. One's good. The other is
That's a
good.
15.
15, yeah. Your stomach hurts and you're very hungry. But it's not debilitating yet.
I have a can-do attitude, so it's good.
Yes, one of those. Cool. After about an hour, you fall asleep. You wake up at some indeterminate time later. All of you wake up.
In the same place, untouched.
In the same place, untouched except for one thing.
No one else is there.
There is only one other prisoner here with you.
Oh god.
Others.
I didn't get that again.
Where are the others?
An excellent question. Well, don't look at me. If I could make them disappear, I'd be gone, wouldn't I?
I don't know what happened. Sleep overcame me. And
You were drugged, fool. All of you were, those of you who drank as our friend here, and he gestures towards Sky, christened it Jim Jar Soup. You were drugged to sleep soundly, all of you.
but what's so special about what remains? Why us?
Or what is so special about everybody that is not us? What makes you think you're special, Iblith?
There's some special in all of us, I would hope. If not, we'd already be dead.
Spoken like an elf. Have you ever considered you're alive because you're useful? And when you cease to become useful, you will be dead.
Can't the same be said of you?
Quite possibly.
Well, let's hope we all remain useful then.
Yes. However, there is something else that we do have in common, though it pains me to have anything in common with your kind. I was also shut down here the same night as you. The others had been here longer. I was in a different chamber. I was moved into this one.
Let's hope we meet a better fate here than whatever the others are facing, wherever they've been moved to.
You're just a chalice of optimism, aren't you?
Do we... Sorry, go on.
I have to be if I want to live.
Oh, spare me. He starts to shout out in Undercommon. I think everybody other than Octavian understands. As he's like, please come and kill me. I'm stuck in here with an imbecile. Please, anything but this torture, the poetry of this idiot elf. Come and force your sleeping poison upon me. I cannot cope with this foolishness anymore. And he begins to pound at the wall. Go ahead, Sky.
I was going to say something. If he's going to start hitting the wall, then that's fine. Do we hear anything like from outside this room? It's just dead quiet.
You hear some scuffling about, some noises, and the occasional shout of pain, but they sound like... not... I mean, human is a difficult word to use in this situation. They don't sound like the voices of races that you have seen in the room with you. They appear to belong to a race that is not one of those. As he's sort of madly pounding at the wall, he turns. And whereas before his eyes were sort of a dark red, as all drow eyes are, almost all drow eyes are, you now see that they are shot through with yellow. He looks insane, as he turns to you and starts to course towards you. Get us out of here! I can't cope! Get me out!
Calm down.
He moves towards Zoroaster and reaches out as if to grab Zoroaster by the throat.
I grab his head. Stop! What do you think you're doing, good sir?
Kalena! Don't do it!
I do not know who Kalena is, but she's not here right now, and I am definitely not her.
As Derek sees this, he's gonna think back to potentially yesterday and the solution to deal with a certain somebody here as he goes to grab his fist and tries to bop him on the head, see if that helps.
Give me a roll to hit.
Is this whack-a-mole? And I'm holding the mole? Hello?
Great strength, right? It's 12.
He ducks the punch, and then he rolls round, elbows you twice in the gut, lifts his fist up, and catches you under the chin. All of this while Zoroaster is like grabbing him. He literally just like this, bang. Reflexes trained like a warrior.
Garrick, are
He
you
takes
okay?
his right hand and he reaches towards the edge of Zoroaster and pushes his fingers quite firmly under your chin. Zoroaster, it's excruciatingly painful.
Ooh. That's my good stop. Don't touch me. There's a good stuff. Oh, it's meant to be painful.
It's excruciatingly painful.
Ow! That really hurts. Can you please stop that? Like, I'm in a lot of pain right now. Stop it. Like, stop
He
it right
looks
now.
at you, and you see the yellow has faded from his eyes as he says, "Let me go."
You came to me.
Let me go.
Okay. On 3 then. You let me go as well.
Very
1, 2.
As soon as you suggested, even before you got to 1, he just moved his hand out the way.
Dude. Respect people's private space. I get that we're not in the best conditions here, but come on, have some decency, man.
He steps back and he sort of starts looking around. Where are the others?
We just had a conversation about this moments ago.
I've got to give up those mushrooms. Seeing things. Yes, Bruno, you can say that out loud if you want.
I actually would like... Did you just say... And I'll look at Stool. And then
You
I'll
can't
back
look at
him.
Stool. Stool is not here, but go on.
I would look at the general area as where I met Stu and kind of ponder about how attached I've grown to this mushroom being. What sort of mushrooms have you been eating exactly?
Shorter gets them for me. They are better than the food that we normally
Sure
get,
enough?
but sure.
Sure.
But they do bring on strange visions, moments of madness. In truth, I was eating these mushrooms prior to my incarceration.
So you are addicted to these substances that affect your mind
That is likely fair to say.
in a place that is already likely to affect your mind. I'm not sure that is what self-care might mean. You know,
You
How
simply
far
a
back can you...
drow, a fool to no end.
How far back can you remember? How much has this affected you?
To what end do you mean? I remember being a child at home.
I mean, you can't remember our last conversation, but do you remember when you fell asleep?
Yes, Nemea had eaten of the drugs and was quite useless as a bed partner. I gave up and went to sleep, perhaps half hour after our friend here, and he gestures towards sky. The reverie is difficult to attain down here, but these mushrooms allow a more generic humanoid sleep.
I'll
Sky, go.
I'm gonna stand in front of Sora. And I'm gonna say,
Step on his head.
no. I'm gonna say to him, is that why? Is that how you got imprisoned? You are high and in a fit of rage killed another drow?
And as a follow-up to that, how are you getting drugs into here? I know you said Shore gets them to you, but does he get them from the outside?
They grow in the corridors of the Underdark. They're quite common. As to your question, well, they say that I slayed a fellow drow in a moment of madness, but I have no memory of it. I sometimes believe it is a setup to discredit and destroy me, as I was in charge of a fairly large band of smugglers, but part of me worries that it may in fact be true.
I rub my neck as you say that.
He doesn't seem to notice.
Well, it doesn't seem like a wild accusation to me.
No, I'm beginning to think the same. And at this moment, the door opens. the main gate opens, and a female and a male step in. You've not seen this female before. She looks quite young, and is quite elegantly dressed. She has come down with Jorlan, who, if you remember, was sidelined by Ilvara. It is Jorlan who asked Octavian to humiliate Shaw. The younger female drow moves in far less confidence than Ilvara normally does. And with the drow at her side who has a weapon unsheathed, she looks around at you all. It's time for a little exercise. Your companions are up above. Your previous incarceration members. It's just we must conduct a little test before we go.
I don't like this.
I advise you don't fail.
I don't like this.
And she takes a dagger from her hip, and she strides quite confidently up to Zoroaster. And, your arm, please. If you hesitate, she repeats it in common.
I can't hesitate. I'm gonna put on a tough guy act, and I'm gonna pull my arm forward.
Mm-hmm. She dips the point. It's a very, very sharp dagger. She dips the point into your arm. It just pricks you. You're, as a slave that's been whipped and battered, you probably barely notice. And she just puts her finger in the blood and she raises it to her lips.
Oh, you're disgusting. Oh my God. I won't say that to her. I'm like under my breath, very, very quietly.
You pass. And she gestures for you to walk on up the ramp, or at least to get out her way. And she strides up to Yum and repeats the moment. Yum bravely stretches their arm forwards. The gesture is repeated. She then moves up to Garrig. Your arm.
Just as a quick note, I won't go forward until Sky's done.
I figured. She dips the knife and...
As I present my arm, I kind of try to look to see what kind of intentions this might have to just prick my arm and then lick it. See if I can learn anything, maybe.
You can give me a religion check at disadvantage, because it's not... Yeah, I don't think you know much about drow religious practices.
Is she trying to find out which of us is a good donor?
No.
Religion, right? You said?
Religion with disadvantage, correct. Yeah, that's not bad.
Alright, 10.
By nat 20, we'll take the 10.
Sure.
Yeah, so she seems to be trying to ascertain some quality of your blood, or perhaps your soul. You've seen Orcish shamans do something similar, but without tasting the blood. Sort of using it as an offering, or painting it on their foreheads, or on their skin, as a mark of sort of like, they call themselves soul shamans, right? As an offering to Grumsh. Perhaps this is something similar, but you're not 100% sure. She, regardless of her sort of shying at the bitter taste, she eventually sort of nods. And you pass? Oh, hold there. And she asks you to wait for a moment. And you see her reach down to her snake-like whip. And indeed, as she pulls the whip up, 7 snakeheads writhe, and looking eager to bite. And she brushes it briefly along your arm, and one snake takes a bite. The skin goes numb at the arm, and then begins to pulse in incredible pain and spasms of the muscles. The snake turns to her and hisses something out, and she nods. You pass. She turns to Octavian. Sorry, again, go on.
Gerg will just grunt in deep pain as this happens to try to not show weakness, but this fucking hurts.
Yeah.
as he goes to the side.
She strides up to Octavian. Our dissenter.
Octavian will put out his arm, having seen what everyone else does, but kind of look away with his eyes
walks
closed, like he
past
doesn't
you.
want to watch it done.
She walks past you. Sky, your arm. She doesn't say it like that. She just looks at you and says, "Your arm." I don't know why I was so polite.
I kind of pause for a moment, staring at her, and then I'll take my arm out. But as she grabs it and as she goes to put the knife to my forearm, my arm trembles.
Yep. She. Iblith. You pass. And she moves over to Sareth. Sareth presents his arm. She. He is to be sacrificed. Take him up. Sareth sort of. No! No! That can't be right! That can't be right! She leans in close and mutters something in Undercommon very gently into his ear. Sky, you're closest. If you wish to make a perception check, you may. See if you can glance anything of it.
13.
You hear along? Just the word along. You miss whatever she said before it. And then she takes out her whip and she lashes him 4 times across the chest, leaving welts and bite marks all over him. His body begins to spasm, and as he falls limp towards Jorlan's arm, Jorlan just props him up by the back of the neck and guides him out. Jorlan ushers all of you out in front of him, except for Octavian. Octavian, you are left alone with the priestess. He says, "My name is Asher. I believe my friend up there asked you to embarrass my brother."
He may have made some such request.
Surface elves. I despise them. But you might be useful. And with that, she lets something drop on the floor, and she strides out. And then as she goes to walk away, she steps back. Oh, I almost forgot. Your arm.
Octavian puts his arm out.
She runs the dagger down your whole arm, opening it from wrist to elbow. It's not bleeding profusely, but it is very painful. She runs her finger all the way along your arm. Your death will be satisfying, but it's not today. You pass. And
Octavian just grits his teeth.
she walks up and she turns back to you. "I'd follow if I was you." But she has dropped this thing on the ground for you.
Can I pick it up or have a look at it?
Yep. You pick it up, and it seems to be a small wooden whistle. You've seen these hanging around the necks of the guards, mostly the guards that seem to be in charge. It appears to be a signal whistle to call for some sort of attention, or perhaps you will have seen it used once as a signal for an alarm when one of the prisoners from the other group tried to escape.
Okay, Octavian will take the whistle and rush along to where everyone else was going.
The rest of you are guided up to the lake, and when we're just going to sit on the main... It's going to change the soundtrack, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, you're all led up to the lake, where you are able to gather, and you see all the rest of your prisoners' friends, where they were previously. You are handed buckets and told to start moving the lake. But there is something different today. you notice that there are 6 other prisoners across the way. These prisoners appear to be of a different race, a race that you're not so sure of. I'm trying to see if I've got a picture for you, but I don't seem to. No, I don't have an image for you, which also means, unfortunately, that I don't know what they look like. So let me just Google them so I can describe them for you. Sorry, I should have pre-thought about this. Oh. Well, that's weird. Yeah, they are, yeah. No, that doesn't help much. They are very much like, our friend Prince Durendil. But they're a little more animalistic, a little more, they're a little more like the grey one on the right, the hunched one. There are a group of 8 of them. And they also appear to be doing these tasks, but every time a guard is not looking directly at them or is not whipping them, they immediately stop. They are being very uncooperative. They are whipped at numerous moments, but they don't seem too bothered. Is everybody just buckling down and getting on with it?
Would assume so.
Eldeth takes a moment to lean into Zoroaster. Say, is everything all right? You had your testing, but Sadith hasn't come back. Alright. Did they take him away?
Eldith, how long have you been imprisoned?
In this outpost, or in the Underdark, love?
Just in general.
I think we're coming up for about a century. Or something.
You know how sometimes guards take certain people away and then that's kind of a goodbye?
Oh, you mean like Jim Jar? Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be seeing Sadith in the soup.
Not in the soup, but I feel like we won't be seeing him
Oh, don't be so surprised.
at all.
I think he might be gone for good.
I'm not sure. I barely heard a passing remark. Sky was much closer. You might want to ask him.
It is possible, though. I don't suppose he was taken by a female, was he?
Yes, a priestess, I believe. Her name started with A. don't really-
Asha. Aye, she's the younger priestess. She's training under Invara. She is a woman of vast appetites.
Eldith, can I
Perhaps he
trust
is
you?
just a plaything for the night. As much as you can trust anybody down here. Which is to say,
So not
at
a
all.
lot. Have you ever dreamt of escaping?
All the time, love.
No, I know. We all dream
I've
of
tried many
escaping, but
times.
I mean, yeah, that's
I
what I
made
meant.
it once. A long way. 6 days. And the drow brought me back. It was when I was transported to another outpost.
Were you by yourself?
No. My sister.
Ooh, okay. You can.
She was a priestess, you know.
Eldith is kind of. I can see from her picture that she's a little bit brown.
A
She's
little
like
bit brown. That's a nice way of putting it. She's a dwarf.
Well, I think she because Zoroaster himself is slightly like he's darker, than Sky, but I think Eldith is darker than him, and I think now you can like even in the darkness you can see a clear contrast to the point in which Zoroaster's like slowly turning white,
Okay.
like Winter Eladrin, and he says, "And what happened to your sister? Exactly."
I don't know, love. I've never seen her since.
Ah,
She didn't
I see.
escape. I know that much.
Um. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that you're probably used to it by now, considering the countless people we lose down here, but I still think it's important to say it.
Thanks. Garrick, as this is going on, you notice two things about this lake that you are moving to another place. As you go to move the lake up, you take your first bucket up to where the other lake position is, and you notice a small hole up in the ceiling where water is trickling from. The place you are moving the lake to appears to be a place where a natural lake would belong. Water is coming down from the hole, but there is nowhere for the water to go, yet the pool is nearly empty. As you look to the one you are moving it from, to where you are taking the water, there is no source of water. There is no rhyme or reason as to how this lake came to be. And as you reach in, you see a skeletal arm clutching a rusted bucket in the water. It's fair to say that you've just worked out that you're moving the lake back to where it used to be, from wherever it was moved to.
As I see the skeleton, can I briefly see if there's any other guards looking at us at the moment or whatever?
They've got a vague eye over the place, but they're stood quite high up on the hill, and they're having quite a lot of problems with these Quagoths, who keep sort of kicking up a bit of a fuss.
I'll kind of in between getting more water, I'll examine a bit more closely the skeleton to see if there's anything valuable apart from the rusted bucket as I get my water.
A single slave's manacle, rusted beyond use, is around the wrist of the man. That's all.
James, you cut out again.
I said a single slave's manacle is around the wrist of the skeletal arm that clutches the bucket. That is all.
Can I try to take a finger off the skeleton?
Take a finger off. Yes.
Yeah.
It comes away quite easily. It appears to you that it's been down here a long time.
Alright, I'll try to.
Turn my sensitivity down. Hopefully that helps.
I'll find it and continue on as I look to the ceiling. And you said it's like a dripping, it's like a little hole.
So where you're moving it to, so you've just got the skeletal hand from where you're moving it from. Where you're moving it to, there is an opening up there. And when I say an opening, it's probably, I don't know, 6 inches across. You couldn't climb up it, and it's 20 or 30 feet up. But it's dripping down, and you would, just with your sort of natural knowledge, you would understand that this probably formed the lake.
I'm working. And we'll kind of, in between, sort of try to explain this to the rest of the group then. Just in case we get any ideas from this.
At this moment, Bupido, if you remember Bupido, the Darrow, sort of looks at you and, you're saying that we're moving the lake back to where it was?
Yes. A crude punishment befitting of drow.
And Urgol sort of shouts out, "Oh, we're just entertainment!" Bupido sort of nods, and be that as it may, it doesn't change our task. Sky. As you are moving one side to the other, Mebble begins to walk alongside you. And after a moment, he sort of nudges you against the hip with his finger. He's only 2.5 foot tall, if you remember. Do you respond in any way?
Yeah, I'll just. I mean, I don't know if we get told off for talking, but I'll just like mutter under my breath. Yeah.
He doesn't say anything, but he reaches up as if to take your hand.
I'll take his hand.
You'll feel a metal presence in your hand as he pulls his hand away, leaving you with something in your hand.
What's in my hand?
Yeah, if you sort of on the sly attempt to glance down, it's a single bent rusty nail, but it's sharpened to a point. It's bent like sort of on a right angle, like 90 degrees. I don't know if you would, but you get the impression that somebody might be able to use this to pick a lock. It's quite flexible. It's quite pliable.
Oh, I was thinking to stab someone in the eye, but okay.
No, you could stab someone in the eye with it, but it would be no more deadly than a finger. Really. Whereas,
said it's sharp to a point.
yes,
It's a
but
nail.
in the sense that a nail is, right? Yeah, maybe a little more deadly than a finger, but you could cause as much damage by just plundering your thumb into someone's eye, right? Whereas you can't pick a lock with your thumb. As all this is going on, Octavian, you notice that two Quaggoths begin apparently fighting with each other. Nemea sort of wanders on over towards them, and she falls, dashing her bucket to the ground in front of them. And she turns and she cackles and she goes, "I did it!" Two guards rush over to start breaking up the fight.
Guess that would be funnier if Octavian had context for it.
Yes, obviously the context doesn't apply to... You've all witnessed this event of Nemea shouting, but you didn't see what led up to it. Only Octavian noticed the fight between the Quaggoths. But the fight then becomes very serious between the Quaggoths over the top of Nemea.
Okay. Octavian, I guess, will just keep it to himself for now. Kind of a bit afraid to do anything at the moment.
We can't use any magic in this area, can we?
No, you can't. Magic doesn't seem to work. But Zoroaster, Eldith bumps your shoulder and sort of gestures towards the Quaggoths who are fighting and the two guards who are trying to separate them out. And she shrugs her shoulders.
What do you want me to do, Eldith?
You said you wanted to escape, love.
Do you think that this is our chance?
It is a terrible chance, but they all are, really.
Is Stool with me right now?
Every single person is there, apart from Sareth.
And the small kobold too, I just need to check.
And Jimjar, who got eaten.
Wait.
Neville is with Sky, and Stool is currently standing over near Vela, the halfling.
Is Octavian anywhere close to this conversation?
Well, you're about to be.
Octavian, you're much closer to the fighting guards. You were the closest to the fighting guards. The guards trying to separate the Quaggoths.
It is time for me to unleash the chaos. Sky.
I'll telepathically.
Quiet, prisoner!
I'll telepathically. Oh, what up, a chat?
There you go.
Warn Garrick and Octavian and Hume. We're getting out of here. Tell them to pass the message to everyone else. This is our chance.
As you receive this message, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt 1 second. Octavian, you see Nemea lash her manacles against one of the guards' boots and then yank, and they snap at the center. As soon as it happens, she begins casting a spell.
Okay. Is there any other guards close to them?
There are 3 other guards who are sort of moving down very leisurely from the lake. And standing up over the top, is Shaw, who's looking down. And Ilvara is sort of stood way back, like, across the cavern, watching not the drama, but watching Shaw.
Octavian is going to get closer to where the spell is being cast, but not in range. He's kind of curious if it's actually going to go off.
Mhm.
And he remembers what he said, that he would be at her side
Mhm.
if she had the ability to use magic. So the second the spell goes off, he'll get closer to her, but he's going to wait.
Yeah. The guards immediately notice that Namer is like casting magic, and they strike her over the head quite solidly with the back of a spear, and she just keeps casting. Like, she is like single-mindedly. And as she finishes her spell, she yells out in common, "I'm free!" And a small blue door opens up in the cave, and she thrusts herself through it. Leaping into the door, vanishing from your sight.
The hole's still open?
Sorry?
The hole's still open?
The hole is still... What hole?
You said she
It's
opened
the door.
She opened the door, yeah. Like, so she opened a blue door, right? It, like, waved, it opened, she leapt through it. And it will close, but it hasn't quite closed yet. Octavian's about 10 foot away.
10 foot. Octavian doesn't know enough about magic to know what the hell's going on.
Very good. That's what I like to hear. The Quaggoth attempts to shrug off the guard and leap through the door, but he only gets his arm in before it closes.
Oh.
And as the door closes, he is just left with a stump at his elbow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do we see? Did any of the rest of us see how she got her shackles off to start casting magic?
So I will let you know for free. There must have been something damaging them already for her to be able to just yank them off around a guard's boot. Perhaps Sareth was planning something with her. You can't really know much more than that. But you did know that as soon as she had the manacles off, she could use magic.
But by the way, while this was going on, could Garrett have put his hands in the water and try to break free of the chains himself? After like he just saw her break him off, as he thought maybe this will be easy. Let me see how that goes. As he tries to muffle the noise in the water.
The pain of trying to break them is so big that you can't snap them. You realize that maybe you could break somebody else's, but like breaking your own is like trying to break your own wrists. It's not something you can put your own body through. If that makes sense. Like, it's too hard to do to yourself.
Could I take then the rusted manacles as well of the skeleton?
So there's a single rusted manacle with a little bit of chain hanging off it. Yeah, you can take it. Right now, the guards are very distracted trying to deal with the Quaggoth.
Of Sky and Zoroaster, who's the closest to Octavian?
So we'll sort of use a random map for this, just so that we can get an idea of like distances. What's decent? I think this might do. Oh no! Fuck! Shit! Sorry. Hold on. Hopefully you guys can't see anything unless you put your characters down.
Yeah.
Because I just put you in a boss fight. Let's not do that.
Oh no.
Yeah. So if you want to put your characters sort of over here-ish. Yeah. So bottom right, I'm making pings. I think should be able to see one more. What am I missing? James, I'm missing yours.
It's just a black screen right now.
Yep. If you scroll out, you'll see pings down the bottom right.
Yep.
Drag your character there.
I don't know where my character is.
Up the top right, you'll see like a journal thing. It's the
Yep.
third one along. You'll see under characters your name, Octavian Oberlin. If you grab your name and like shove it on the page, that'll put you.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go. And now you should have a tiny little bit of vision. Or perhaps a little more than a tiny bit of vision. For now, I'm just going to put a torch down for a second so that you can all see. There are torches at different spaces, but this is quite difficult to do because there's dynamic lighting. So, Octavian, you'd be sort of here. Zoroaster is here with Eldeth. I might need more than one torch. Okay, Garag, you are the furthest away. Oh, I moved the torch. That was interesting. So yeah, it's sort of that interval if that makes sense, guys. Josh, why has your
Okay.
character moved back? Stay where you put. There you go. So this is the lake you're moving from, right? It's very shallow. It's only a sort of 1.5 feet in depth, maybe a foot in depth. Neville's walking in it quite easily, so you don't have to worry too much about it. The random fighting was going on over here. I don't know who this guy is, but we're just going to put him there so that you can say that that's the fighting and that's where the mayor vanished.
Octavian is just going to run over to Zoroaster as fast as he can and say, Did you see what was happening over there? Her manticles broke. There was a door. There was magic in it.
Octavian, let us breathe. I understand that the situation is rather stressful, but yes, I did see everything.
He's going to pull out the whistle and say, I was given this. I don't know if this can help at the moment, but maybe it can.
If it's poisoned.
I have not. Do we have any way of doing that?
I'm not really the smart one in this house, and I'm gonna look over at Sky.
Sky is kind of giving you a very serious look, as if to say, "What's the plan?"
Okay. I'm gonna look over at Gareg.
We've passed the buck as far as it can go, Garg, unless you want to go back to Octavian.
Okay, let me look at the map. I'm sure there's a way we can plan this.
This is all you're getting for a map, right? It's just, yeah, there isn't much to go on. It's just,
I mean, we're in the middle of a lake.
yeah,
We can cross it, right?
yeah. So actually, if we're gonna get really specific,
I didn't realize we were actually in the lake.
Yeah, you're walking from one lake to the other. The other lake, you would walk here and you'd sort of go up the path and up to the right. There's no point in me putting things on the map because you won't be able to see them.
Are
but
there?
basically, about 120 feet to your northwest is Ilvara. She's watching Shore, who's about 80 feet to your north, who is watching over you all. The guards are dealing with people down here.
Are there any rocks in this lake?
Yeah.
Like
Boats.
so we could maybe use one of those to break the chains. And like maybe with the water, like it'll make it easier, perhaps. I don't know. Zoroaster surely doesn't know physics, so I'm just gonna try and break my chains with a lake rock.
Okay. You can't break your own chains with the rock. Same problem as like you can't. They're only like this far apart, right? So you need to break someone else's.
I was actually wondering if there was any rocks like positioned, like stationary in the lake that I could maybe like do this against.
Okay.
On my feet, because they can't
go
see
ahead.
it.
Give me a strength check.
Ooh, I like those. Fuck my life, that's a 7.
Yeah, cool. That's good for you. You're not doing very well at this, and there's a bit of water resistance. It doesn't make all that much noise, so you don't grab the
Just
attention of any
underwater.
guards. It also doesn't appear to have any effect.
Can I maybe submerge myself then and try to break my comrades' feet chains? Hopefully everyone is distracted, so I might be able to bonk, bonk, bonk. Obviously I'm going to start with Sky.
Okay. You go about this for a moment, and Elders just sort of looks at you like you're an idiot. And then she sort of, "Hey, you, come over here." And the blundering idiot Urgle comes wandering over. And, "Hey, what's the problem?" He yells out, and you get, "Quiet, prisoner!" Coming
Get
across
loud.
the other room. And she sort of leans down, and she tries to pick up a rock, right? And she hands the rock to Urgle and gestures towards your manacles. At this moment, Topsy and Turvy see that a guard is coming towards you.
These two fucks. What they gonna
The
say?
little were-rats, right? Sorry, I've just spoiled something. Never mind. The two little deep gnomes. And they run up to intercept the guard. To stop him from getting towards you.
Thank my god.
Yes. Urgol sort of swings once, and then he lets out a great barbarian war cry. And
I put my
smashes the-
hands on his mouth
and
with all my mighty strength.
You can try that, but that's really silly while he's trying to break your chains, because that's going to put your wrists in front of your head, which is going to mean that what he boulders is your forehead. So we're going to say he breaks through the chains. And at this point, the guards notice there's a commotion. The Quaggoths are going to very bravely try and pull the guards down. As you look up, Octavian and Garrick, you look up to the northwest, and you see Shaw standing there over the crowd, and he begins to sort of start giving orders, and he's blowing this whistle and pointing and pointing. As he directs everyone. You don't hear a sound from the whistle.
Blow the whistle at the same time, Octavian.
Yeah, screw it. Octavian is going to, seeing this, start blowing. He's going to blow it once cautiously and see like what happens.
You see one of the guards sort of turn to you and then turn to his master up the top and then turn to you, looking a bit confused.
Can Octavian, this might be kind of weird, could he kind of put it underwater and blow it? Would that make a...
It makes some bubbles.
Okay, it doesn't change me.
That's all it does.
He's trying to hide it.
It doesn't even make any annoying sound to anybody else. It just makes some bubbles. However, as you then return to blowing it out, you notice that some of the guards are distracted, and you actually hear Shaw say, "Fuck it," and start to stride forwards. But as he takes 2 steps forwards, materializing out of seemingly nowhere is Jorlan. He pulls the head back of Shaw, slits his throat, and then he turns to Ilvara, gestures to his previous mistress, at the man who's usurped his position. You see a smile on his face, and the Quaggoths begin to brawl with the guards. Ilvara stands, sort of her arms crossed, looking down. She does nothing. She just watches.
Eric is gonna try to get a big rock just as Mr. Urgle here and try to break
Oh, I'll help you. I'll help you now that I'm
Sky's
free.
manacles as well.
As the group sort of group around and start to break each other's manacles, as soon as Eldeth is clear, she actually breaks Mebel's chains. And Mebel starts to cast, and little illusions of all of you appear around.
Pick Mebel up, and I will put him on my back. If anything tries to strike Mebel, James, please hit me instead.
Maybe, we'll see. Bopido seems to get a bit excited and start like running round. Like he's completely useless. He's just getting excited into what's going on. And Urgle grabs a rock from the ground and he launches it at one of the guards. He's angry and violent. At this point, the Lady Ilvara at the top sort of motions with her finger casually and points, and one of the Quaggoths goes down, writhing with black chain around his neck and slowly strangled to death. She waits a few moments, watching with her arms folded. Then she casually tosses another one, watches as the Quaggoth is strangled. Those of you who notice her will see that she seems quite entertained.
Are there more Quaggoths chained as well than these two?
Sorry?
Are there more Quaggoths that are chained as well?
Yeah, there are 6
other
of
than
them
these?
rolling with the guards right now. They are your only
Oh, they're all
distraction.
brawling.
Yeah.
Alright. Do they seem to be winning or losing?
No. They're definitely going to lose, but right now they're just holding the guards up. Like, it's just the time that it's taking.
Garrick, I kind of noticed you taking a look at these Quaggoths, whatever, and I'm going to put a hand on your arm and I'm going to say, we need to go if we're getting out of here now.
Eldeth sort of looks to you all, and then she lets out, in common, a war cry that sort of just says, "To arms! Let us be gone in the name of Godalgrim!" And she starts running, and you'll notice she does something as she goes. And as she raises her hand, a sort of bright light appears on her hand. You notice all of the guards immediately sort of wince and move their head down.
Derek will also cast Reduce Flame, which will kind of hover in his hand.
Beautiful.
Is anyone still blowing the whistle that Octavian knows of?
No, just you.
No, okay. Octavian won't blow it then, if it's
No, okay, sorry.
if it's just him.
What was I looking for? There we go. Guys, if you want to place your tokens at the very sort of top right where I'm pinging. There is a little bit of light in here, but not much. But Eldeth is casting light from herself. Did you say you're casting light as well?
Yeah, I cast Produce Flame. I'm not attacking with it, but...
Okay, what are you producing flame on?
My hand.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Is that a bright light?
It says bright light in 10 feet and dim light in 10 feet.
Okay. So that's the light that's being given off, yeah? You guys should now be able to see because of that, is that correct?
Thank you, Garrick.
Can you all now see for a little bit of space?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Assume that everybody else is with you, but everybody else is represented right now by by Stool. Let's say, okay.
Stool.
Yeah, cool. With the exception of 3 people. Do you remember those 2 deep gnomes which we talked about, Topsy and Turvy, who went and started poking people with daggers? They come at you from another angle as they come down the corridor towards you. And Turvy and Topsy look at you and... Our stuff. Let's hop over this way. Maybe we can get some equipment on the way.
Let's go.
And then Topsy just collapses face forward on the floor.
Oh, I will wake them back up with a lay on hands.
As you lay on hands in, you don't even get to the point of using the magic. You go down to put your hand, and there is just a gaping hole in his throat that starts to burn all the way through. It looks like he's drank pure acid as his entire throat starts to burn away. And in fact, his head will detach from his body during this moment. Turvy sort of looks down and, no!
I'll push Turvy away, like, you don't want to see this. I'm sorry, you really don't want to look at this.
She looks at you and sort of... I need something from his body.
I'll grab it for you. What do you need?
She looks at you. No, you won't.
Oh.
And she puts her hand in his mouth.
Okay.
And pulls something out. It appears to be a sharpened tooth.
We really need to move.
And Turvy will tell you that you need to take a right at the next point. And will start to lead you away. Topsy is dead as fuck, so we can leave Topsy.
The next point after this.
So here. And they lead you up this corridor a little ways. After a short while, you get to a dead end, so I'm not going to bother leading you all the way up. But basically, you get to a dead end with a plateau, and there's these sort of leather sort of satchels hanging from the wall. Turvy finds her gear, but none of your gears appear. But you do find some things. So, Garrick, roll me a D100. Sorry, you're going to have to bear with me a second. I just closed something I didn't mean to close. That's really annoying. I was not ready for that to disappear suddenly from my face. Not helpful, thank you! Sorry, your roll. D100, please.
62.
Okay, you find a quiver of arrows. A backpack. Let's start with a backpack. A quiver of arrows. A quarterstaff. And a bar of soap. What knows who brought all that shit? Zoroaster, roll me a D100 as you grab a bag. A 69. You find a rusted short sword. That's probably about as good as it's gonna get, so celebrate.
Take that.
3 candles. And a hammer. Not the sort of hammer you can use in a fight, like an actual,
a working hammer.
Hammer. You also find a pair of well-worn boots. Sky, a D100, please.
Can I use the 88 I rolled earlier?
Yeah, sure. You can use an 88. Because realistically, you have no idea what any of these are going to do. Oh, okay. That's actually really good for you. Yeah. You find 6 water skins. That's great. And a component pouch. Will you now roll on behalf of Yum for me, please? So, give me a D100. Uh, 64. Wow, we're in the 60s. A single caltrop, a rusted mace, and an amulet that seems to belong to a dwarven god, and a traveler's cloak. James, sorry, your name's not in your brackets, I can't remember. Octavian, roll me a D100, please. Too many windows to open right now.
37.
Hey, finally somebody rolled under 50, otherwise we weren't going to come out with any armor. You find 2 sets of leather armor and a powafwi. A powafwi is a sort of darkened cloak that gives you advantage on stealth. You can add a cloak of elven kind, which is basically what it does.
Can Octavian immediately put that on?
Yeah, 100%. You're also able to grab a bag of drow sort of gear. This is a standard soldier's kit, inside which you will find 4 daggers, a single set of leather armor, and single set of leather armor and 20 rations.
20 ration. Okay.
Yeah. That's
So
not
does that
you, that's
equal-
everyone. You just grab that.
Okay,
That's just like
sorry.
a bag. So that's not. And when I say everyone, I mean like all of the prisoners as well, right? So that's just the one drow guard case. Oh, sorry, and a shield. That might be worth mentioning. Yeah, there's a single shield with it. 4 daggers, a shield, 20 rations, and each of you is able to grab an actual backpack to put a lot of shit in. But as you're in a dead end, you realize that you're going to have to turn and run pretty fast.
Yeah, I start heading immediately.
Sorry.
Garrick starts heading out as soon as he gets what he can.
Okay.
Octavian is going to follow Garrick behind, but never get in front of him.
Yep. Just bear with me a second. Guys, just hold still for 2 seconds. Yeah, sorry, I'm just allowing stream to see where we're going. Yep, you can carry on now. As you go. Which way are we going? Which way are we going?
Could I see where this leads to, or here?
Sorry, guys, I'm having a real problem. I don't understand where my... Ah, there we go. I minimized something and I couldn't unminimize it. Sorry, you can see where what goes. This is the way you came from. This is the way Topsy and Turvy came from, sorry. So they came from where you were gathering the water, and you guys came from where the water was delivered. So you've met in the middle here. The south path appears to lead back to your jail cells.
Jail cells. Don't want to fucking go there. Can I hear over here?
Yeah, that seems to be a little bit of noise, and you hear a strange giggling. That's the wrong person.
There's another path over here.
Sorry, where? Yeah, there's a path there. That's correct.
Do we hear anything coming from that one?
You can hear general panic, like everything you can hear right now except the music, you can hear. So there's shouting going on, there's general noise everywhere, but you heard a weird giggling down the way that you originally went to go.
Was it like a feminine giggling?
Very much so.
Alright, not going there.
Garrick, lead the way.
Yeah, I'm heading this way.
Okay. Garib, as you step around the corner, there is a female drow wearing a gleaming breastplate. She holds a mace in one hand and a whip in the other, and she looks at you and... The hunt is on! And she starts to charge towards you.
Do I roll something?
Sorry?
Do I roll initiative or am I?
You can fight her if you want.
I will gently grab Garrick's wrist and start pulling him towards the other direction.
You would know, Garrick, you are far outmatched right now.
I don't
want to stop and fight a
really
drow.
I'm gonna as I go.
I'm gonna do something really harsh, though. Go on, sorry.
I'm gonna cast Entangle where this drow is to like help slow them down.
Beautiful. Roll me a d6 as well.
A d6, all right.
You're gonna hit the entangle on her. That's fine. I think I provided you an entangled spell, so you can pop that down wherever you want it to be.
Oh, that's a.
Okay, don't worry, I'll fix it.
I rolled 5.
5? Ah,
Yes.
that's Vela, I'm afraid. She reaches out with her whip, and it extends, and it grabs Vela, the halfling, by the ankle, and starts dragging her into your entangle. Do you guys wish to stop and try and save Vela, or are you going to leave her?
She's entangled, yeah?
Is the
both-
entangle a grapple? Or how does
No.
No.
Entangle is essentially like difficult terrain, and if a creature is there when I first cast it, they're restrained. Other than that, if you weren't there when I first cast it, it's just difficult terrain.
She
But
does
the drow
not
is
appear to
restrained.
be restrained.
But she
Okay.
is in the area of the entanglement.
Yes, so she
And-
is in difficult terrain, but she gets to make a save, and it looks like she succeeded.
No problem. I'm gonna grab one of the candles, I'm gonna lit it up with Garrick's produced flame, and I'm gonna throw it into the vines so
Okay.
she starts burning. Does this stop Vita's
So
fall?
to make the entangles burn?
Ideally, I wanna just deter her just so we can grab Vila and get the fuck out of here.
Okay, she seems to shy from the bright light. And then she waves her hand in a motion, and the flames begin to recede along the vines towards you as she casts control flames.
Does it give us time to maybe grab Vila and...
Do you want to try and grab Vela? Okay, that will require running into the entangle and in range of her whip.
I'm gonna telepathically tell Zara to leave her.
Can I cut the vine that's grabbing her?
I just love that in chat, Darth's going, if you leave her behind, Yum is done with you.
Can I cut the vine? Yeah, I know that Yum cares for her, which is why I'm trying.
Yeah?
Can I cut the vine that's pulling her with my short sword?
It's her whip. It's the whip.
Can I
that's
cut the
pulling.
whip?
Ooh, yeah, go on, make an attack. Step in.
Please, I've been rolling terribly the whole session. Come on. I got a nat 20.
Well, that's nice.
Thank God. You're welcome, Yum. I'm thinking of you.
Yeah. So as you make a slash down, your sword does nothing to her whip, but it slides down the whip handle and catches the back of her finger. At which point she lets go of the whip. As you yank Vela out, the snakes on the whip are wrapped around her leg and are biting at her, but you're able to pull her and get her to come with you. Mebel casts some sort of illusory thing where the vines start growing out of the ground, but the drow swiftly ignores them, and she comes to her feet and starts to charge after you. I'm gonna remove Entangle purely because she's gonna walk through it, but she's chasing you down the corridor. She's also calling out in Undercommon that she's found what she calls sport. That's nice, isn't it?
That's not me, I'm Zoroaster.
One of the grandmas that's with you, that sort of came running after you, you see go down to the ground with one of these binding black ropes around their neck, and it slowly squeezes them to death. It would seem that Ilvara has joined the race.
In this corridor, I'm gonna pour one of the water skins on the floor, and I'm gonna shape water to freeze it.
I love it. Okay, so you're down a water skin. Keep the skin. Just remember that you have an empty one. And indeed, the woman will slip on the ice, but as you round this corner, you hear a sly... I didn't expect to see you here. As down here are Sarith and Asher, both completely naked, wrapped in each other's arms. They're actually a little further down, but I put them here just so you can see them. Yeah, in fact, you know what? I'll just do that. There we go. Wrapped in each other's arms, and Sarith looks up. He smiles sardonically at you, and then through Asher's throat as he stabs her with her own dagger. He grabs her back by the hair, and he kisses her body as the blood spurts out of her neck. He kisses her on the lips. And then he reaches down, grabs one of those Pawafwi cloaks and wraps it around himself, and reaches down to her clothes. He tosses towards Garrick a mace. It looks magical. And he goes to grab the whip, but the spiders, the snakes begin to bite at him, and he tosses it across the room and starts to run with you.
Okay. I'll catch the mace, but I won't look very thankful anyhow that I catch it.
You notice that he has a nasty-looking sort of short sword in his hand that he just stabbed her with.
In terms of the 4 daggers we acquired, can Octavian get one?
Yeah,
or...
you can take 2. It's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll take 2 then.
Take 2 for now if you like. Yeah.
Do I hear anything from this side?
No, but Eldeth does sort of come to your side and tap you on the shoulder and reach out for the mace. Like, she
She'll
wants
give
that
it to her.
shit, like right now. You can see she looks very accustomed to using it, and as you come to the split in the corridor, you see a path up to straight ahead that appears to go upwards, and a path that leads around to the left.
And both have no sounds?
No. Well, there's lots of sound, but none of it appears to be coming from that direction. That's
So this one is seemingly kind of sloping upwards over here?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's go this way. And I'll let her take the mace as well as I go along.
Yep. Fantastic.
Octavian will tap Garrick on the back and hand him one of the daggers.
I think Garrick has a quarterstaff. I think that's why he
okay.
doesn't care about the dagger, the mace.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want it, I'll trade my short sword for it.
As you get here, well, hold on with it for a second. Like, let's roll with it for a second. Like, it's not time to start trading gear in the middle of running away from prison. But she sort of gestures towards here, and Eldeth races in. She shortly afterwards comes back, clutching what appears to be a smoking joint of meat. It's a dead end, but there is a cooking rack in here.
Is it really time for that, Eldith?
You'll thank me when we get halfway to hell.
Can Octavian see anything down that way that he could grab as well?
It's just food racks, so you can grab like smoked meat, whatever.
Octavian will grab whatever he can.
You are able to carry a
in his
rations,
backpack.
basically. It's a rations each right now. It's just like you're grabbing something that you can eat.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
it'll
much
do for your
can
first
you grab?
meal, basically. Yeah, you'll get
Okay.
a rations.
One ration. Okay.
because
got it.
it's not designed for street travel. It's like their meal.
Okay, gotcha.
You can also, if you wish, grab a skewer. It may not be. It's an improvised weapon, but it's there. If you wish to stab a bitch with it. No, right now I think you're all sort of tangles and stuff, but somebody will grab a skewer and come along with you. Are you carrying on that way, Garrick?
Seems like the proper way. So might as well.
Okay. As the path ascends upwards, it takes a sharp corner, and suddenly, all is a little quiet. It appears that you've left a little bit of the carnage behind as you race on down this long, dark corridor. You find yourself struggling at this point to sort of make out things beyond your light. There's just pure blackness in the distance. As you, at one point, come around a corner, you see a recess that you would have missed, and in that recess is a creature that you've probably never seen before. It stands sort of 8 or 9 feet tall. It appears to be made of pure carapace, dark rock-like carapace. And instead of arms, it has 2 scythe-like claws at its arms. It clacks its 2 claws together and grunts at you. But it doesn't appear to speak any form of intelligible language. You run straight past it.
We run straight past it then?
It's up to you. You're in front.
Does it look like it's threatening us?
Give me a... Give me a survival check.
Alright, I should be good at those, but let's see. No, that's a 9.
A 9? The thing looks dangerous. But you kind of get the impression that its every move is somewhat threatening.
Alright. Garrick is gonna try to show that he's not hostile to whatever manner of creature this is as he just sort of like, backs up a little bit away from it, try not to get too close. He doesn't know whatever the fuck this thing is. It's weird looking. I have not seen this up above. I don't think it's a beast. It doesn't look like one. So I'm just gonna...
Okay. And you're gonna move past it.
I'm gonna try and move past it carefully.
It doesn't seem to respond in any way, but as Eldeth gets to it, she yells out, "Okora!" And then Okora? It doesn't seem to be attacking. Let it be, I guess. Huh. And she then continues on the sprint with you all.
It was as big as us, right?
It was 9.5 foot tall. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna leave the map there. We're gonna move into the realm of the mind as we follow down a long, winding corridor. As you look back, you'll see a strange black cord sort of webbing across the ceiling. In your light, it glistens and it glows. And then the webbing stops. It appears you've reached the edge of the drow settlement of Velkynvelve. And indeed, at the wall, you see a sort of a sconce for a torch. Though what is in it doesn't appear to be a normal torch. And indeed, as Sareth runs his hand along it, it lights a dark black flame that barely lights more than 5 foot. This is the end of the realm of my people. It would seem we are fated to escape. Though some of us might not make it very far. He gestures towards Vela.
What are you trying to imply?
Her wounds.
Speak candidly.
Look at them. They are poisoned. And you'll see that everywhere that the whip has bitten into her legs are gashes. She's unconscious. And you don't think that she really doesn't look great.
Please let me heal her. I can neutralize the poison affecting her. I would really like to try and save her.
Neutralize the poison, or do you want to try and heal her up?
You have a pool of healing. Yes, I can spend 5 HP. So I think the main thing I'm gonna do now is neutralize the poison.
Are you gonna stop to do that?
Are we out?
I mean, you've got out of Velkynvelve, but you know you were being chased. You're probably been running for about 20 minutes.
It will take me 6 seconds if you allow me to carry her while I do this.
I will say you have to take Mebel off your head, but apart from that, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So you've got it when you had her in your arms all this time, right? Sort of tossed over his shoulder. You take a moment to focus, and you realize that you're not going to be able to neutralize the poison in full, as it's so right within her body. you would need to stop and really tend to her wounds in full to try and get rid of the damage the poison has dealt. But you can stop it from spreading any further.
So I'm left with the impression that once we're able to lay her down and actually give her some care, she might recover.
Yeah. You think that if tended to well, she may well be able to recover.
I look over at you,
No.
and I'll give her a gentle nod, and then put Vela back on my shoulder.
I'm sure Yam is appreciative. The one thing I will say is that you've got Eldeth and Garrick casting light. One light, one produce flame. But other than that, you've got sort of 15 of you trying to run in this 30-foot light as the corridor whips. You're going to be slowed down a lot by you guys having to try and navigate in semi-darkness and into shadow and not quite seeing where everything's going. A couple of times you run into dead ends. Are you guys trying to run as fast as possible, or are you trying to sort of navigate sensibly and carefully?
I don't think we really have time to do it carefully. So Garrick says to hurry up.
Fantastic.
Octavian
Garrick,
would agree.
as you run,
Agreed.
give me a dex save.
So, alright. Let's see. Oh, look at that. The 12.
Yeah, you were looking straight ahead trying to work out which tunnel to go down, and you missed the fact that the ground gave way. You fall down a chasm. It's only a sort of 15-foot fall. You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage. 2, sorry. Can't read in this light. 2 points of bludgeoning damage. But it's a sort of 15-foot drop. Eldeth immediately tumbles on down after you, landing next to you, but on her feet with a thunk. She sort of looks like she jumped down. She didn't just fall. You could have given us some warning.
I'll look down at her and say, and you could have used this rope. Go down.
Aye, it's not a big drop. About 15 foot.
It's not that high.
As you look ahead, Garrick, the ceiling is not very high either. In this tunnel you've fallen down into, it's probably only 5 foot in height. You will have to crawl, or at least crouch. Some of you will have to crawl. Urgol especially will have to crawl to get through here. It's up to you. Do you want to go through the crawl tunnels, or do you want to persist on the main tunnel up atop where the ceiling is sort of 12 or 15 foot? And the passage is a lot wider up the top.
If I may suggest, Garrick, since you are in the lead, I feel that the smaller tunnels might be the best way around. There's a less likely chance for drows to be in them, crawling around.
However, if we're caught while crawling in them, I'm sure we might be sitting ducks.
Well, we'd be crawling ducks.
I don't know what a duck is, but in these cruel tunnels, there are many creatures deadlier than drow. Though the drow will be unlikely to follow us down this path. That's Sareth, obviously.
Down we go then.
You have
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
I think somebody said down you go then. I think that was Octavian. Certainly a few others agree. Urgol is terrified of moving into the crawl tunnel, but he's also very stupid, and Eldeth persuades him pretty quickly. The one person who really doesn't want to go into the crawl tunnels is Ront. Ront is the orc. That's not what I meant to do. I didn't mean to put him on the screen. I meant to do that. Ront is the orc. He stands sort of 7.5 foot tall, very well muscled. And he looks over to Garrick. Sorry, I've got the player names instead of the character names in front of me, so my brain is not functioning. He looks over to Garrick. Must we go down that path? 'Tis not a place I would want to fight. even if, and then he sort of gestures with a sort of wooden club. I haven't got much to fight with.
Far better than dealing with them up top. Besides, we can take the risks. We're strong enough. Are you too afraid?
No. I just don't want to be bent over. He sort of gets down and sort of, you see it's not easy for him to get squat down into this tunnel. He really doesn't like it. But he sort of gets down in, and you actually hear like a kind of as his spine like struggles to adjust with. Urgo attempts to just walk in, smashing his head on the rock, and then he sort of he goes in legs first, like he's gonna do the limbo, and Eldeth is like, for fuck's sake, love, we've got somewhere to be, and she sort of pulls him backwards and like bends him down and shoves him forwards. It's a bit of a haphazardy thing, but Turvey, Turvey's dead. No, Topsy's dead. Turvey runs on into the crawl tunnels up ahead to start scouting. And as you all get into this crawl tunnel, Shusha, the Kuatoa, stops before the crawl tunnel. No, I don't think so. This is where
What do you
we
mean? Depart? What reason?
I will not die in a hole.
Well, you'll be dying there instead if you don't hurry along.
If you die anywhere down here, you die in a hole, as far as I'm concerned.
This is my homeland. I seek water. I will do my best to lead them away from you.
No! What sort of stupidity are you spouting right now? You've just escaped from there. Why now are you having a fault in judgment and suddenly deciding to return? You will literally be split up into raw fish.
The path with you all leads to violence. I don't wish that.
What do you think is going to happen when they find you?
I may be captured, I may be killed. But I will not be party to raising weapons against them.
What
If
about
you-
the...
Don't. As far as I care, I don't care. I don't care whether you raise a weapon or not. If you want to die, that's fine. Do not waste your life. If you have a purpose, then seek it out. Come with us and survive, or you will die, and your purpose will be null.
My purpose is my own to find. Sky, you were going to say something?
I was just gonna tell Zara that if he wants to go, then let him go. We need to move now.
You're
With Zoroaster. Sorry, Zora. Yeah. I heard
You're
Zoro,
right, Sky.
the mask off. Yeah.
I think with this decision, like, I agree with you, Sky. And I'll look at Koa. But you can tell, like, Zoroaster's ready to leave. I'm ready to crawl away. And I'm gonna say, you say that you're against violence, but what of the violence that you're going to inflict upon yourself if you return there?
I'm not going back. And then he gestures towards the tunnel up above. I will head on, and I will do my best to lead them away from you. Good luck.
May your choices guide you to good actions.
And he bows his head. His eyes begin to glow a strange pale blue, and he walks on ahead. As he walks on, you hear a sort of clacking noise behind you of these two hooks of the hook horror clapping together as it comes stumbling down the corridor behind you. It's following, but at a distance. It doesn't appear to be in a hurry.
Are there more?
Eldeth looks up and it seems to be the same one. It looks lost. I don't think we should be what it finds. She gestures down the corridor. Just keep going. Leave the fucker behind.
Absolutely.
Okay. You continue onwards down the dark, winding corridor. It's tight here. You're crawling about. And after a little while, you come to a really quite nasty sight. There is Nemea, Maybe she cast Dimension Door. Well, she didn't aim very well. You see her knees at the rock. She is standing as if her feet are down in the rock. She looks at you all and... Help! Help! I'm dying! Help!
Loud about it. It's wrong. Feet in there.
Sorry, I didn't get a word of that.
Her feet are in the rock, you said?
So if you imagine, she is literally teleported and arrived with her legs half down in the rock below her, and her knees sort of is where she starts. Her head is just about reaching up to the rock. So because she's teleported to a tunnel that's shorter than her, she's literally got her knees downwards, just embedded in rock.
She's dead.
She's pretty dead. I mean, she sort
Never
of looks
mind.
at you, and you quickly will all realize the only way she is getting out is if somebody cuts her legs off at the knee.
Evil person, right?
Crazy. She never seemed evil. She was just crazy. Sareth looks genuinely upset. They were companions for a long time.
I mean, this is wild, but... sorry. This might be a slightly unhinged thought, but perhaps we can do this without violence. And I'll rummage through my backpack and I'll pull out my hammer. I suppose that some of you know how to dig?
I don't know if that will help.
You can dig, but you will find that her legs are still encased in rock. I suppose you could cut her out so you can carry her around with rock around her legs? Maybe. But that will take a long time and make a lot of noise.
God, this is
It's
awful.
probably not the time for mining.
Yeah.
Sarah sort of looks down at her and... You know what the decision is going to have to be, don't you? And he gestures towards the wicked-looking knife in his hand. Looks down at her. It's going to hurt, darling. But you like that sometimes, don't you? And he looks at you all, and I'm not one for noble gestures, but you might as well go on ahead. And with that, he, without any more hesitation, sort of takes a swing up and just hacks at her leg. She shrieks wildly. And he reaches up and sort of stuffs the cloak in her mouth and continues to just hack her legs off.
Oh, he's trying to save her. Okay.
Isn't he just going to kill her? Because she'll just bleed out.
Maybe, but he seems to think it's our only chance.
Like, this guy is walking away.
Good. That's what I
Octavian's
like
done
to
with
hear.
this. We're getting out of here.
Great.
Yeah, as I
I mean, I don't know if it's worth nudging. Garrick, perhaps you could cauterize the wound.
would I know if it's possible for her to live at all if he takes off her legs?
In all honesty, it's very possible that she will survive 2 amputations, but not while also being dragged along a dark corridor in the dust, you know, at a pace. You
Remember
could
the
save her if
suggestion
you
that-
stopped.
Even if I did heal her, if we kept moving, it'd probably kill her or something like that.
It may do, yeah, but you may be able to keep her alive.
Remember the suggestion that Vela was poisoned and should be left for dead. I think this situation is far more severe.
Yeah, Vela is definitely a lot more savable than Nemea. She's also completely nuts. But she cast Dimension Door. That is not a low-level spell. You know that is... you would all...
Failed casting it. I mean,
No,
she
she
landed
succeeded
on a
at
rock.
casting it, transported 600 feet.
She just fucked up severely.
She didn't know where she was going, right? But my point being is she does appear to have powerful magics of some sort. If you value that enough, then maybe she's worth saving.
I think we might as well just kill her.
Well, I mean, that's sort of what he's doing anyway.
Guy,
I know,
not
but
this
he's doing it a roundabout way.
Oh, you think it would be merciful just to slit her throat?
Yeah, because she's gonna die anyways.
That's fair. Do you want to suggest
Garrett-
that, or are you guys gonna get
Previously,
running?
but
No. I mean, Sky just wants to leave. He doesn't want to, sit here and debate philosophical morality.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's very valid. You guys keep running. That's great.
What does Sarah do? Did he free her? Well,
He's staying, and he's gonna hack through the bones in her legs. Give him a minute.
all right. Garrick is gonna try to help with primal savagery.
Okay, I'm
Try
just gonna
to-
point something out. Garag is gonna have to shuffle back through every single person.
Oh, that's at the back.
Yeah.
I'll make it easy for Garrick and I'll move to the side.
Yeah, you can let him back through. Okay, so Garag, if you shuffle back through, Eldith will take the lead, and she won't wait. She'll just keep going. She has the light as well, so it's Garag or Eldith, and there's no in between.
Would the acid make the tearing apart a bit easier?
Oh, a hell of a lot easier, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, cool. You burn through her knees with acid and swords. Once she is up, you see Sareth very quickly and quite well, actually, bind both legs with the cloak that he's now ripped in half. Rip cloak of the elven kind.
As-
two of those.
As we give her this first aid, I'll try to help as well and see if a healing word might help in her not dying
You
as
quickly
quickly.
make the assessment that now is not the time for that. If she makes it through the first couple of hours, you'll be able to do that.
All right.
To see if she makes it through the first couple of hours. As soon as she is free, she begins casting. She ain't fucking about. She's. But Sarah briefly sort of slaps her around the face and stop that. You'll kill
My
yourself.
God,
For
Sarah.
goodness sake, why don't you do it when you're a little more up to the task? What are you going to do when you get there? Drag yourself along and bleed to death? For goodness sake, woman. Behave yourself. But I want to be free! And he sort of looks at bits of the cloak, and he tears a bit of the cloak off that was cauterizing her wound and shoves it in her mouth, and then puts her over his shoulder. He looks to Garag, and I suppose we should be going on with it. Don't you need that light to see? Gestures to
Hurry along.
thing, and yeah. As he looks back and for a moment, a Quaggoth is following us.
Do we
He
have
does this
Prince?
only to Garag.
Is there a Prince? Is Prince Darrenville with us?
No. No, but he will be shortly.
Nice.
And sure enough, a little while later, if you guys start continuing on with Eldith, a little while later as you come to a curve and you guys are discussing whether to take a right or a left as you come to a T-junction, Prince Durendil arrives at the back of the pack. I very well thought you were going to leave me behind.
Well, I knew they were coming. No need to stop for you to come.
No, indeed. I'm sure it was a very sensible and practical and pragmatic decision. I don't mind being left behind, but, well...
Well, I'm glad you're here for one.
Oh, indeed. I brought something...
Go
on.
No, I wanted to echo what Octavian said. I'm also glad you're here.
I brought something that may be useful. And he grabs a large sort of sack off his back, and he chucks it on the floor, and it makes a big rattling sound. There are 3 spears, 2 great axes, and a great sword in the bag. He's a good lad. And as you begin to arm up, I'm afraid that's where we're going to end, because I don't want to go any further without Darth.
As we end, you can see Zoroaster's eyes drift towards that great sword like it's the last piece of paper.
And you
on
can
the
fucking
plate.
have it. Well, I think the Ront will want the great axe. But other than that, yeah, there's plenty of stuff on the ground for you to discuss in out of session. I think it's probably the place to do that. And we'll come to the timeless tradition of MVPs. What did we end with? I think we ended with James. So to James we will come.
Just for MVP?
Yeah. Moment or something that stood out to you in the session.
I'm gonna say Garruk, in terms of just sort of leading us out, kind of being the physical leader of everywhere we were going. Just the bravery, I guess.
Yes, it's quite easy to think that he's like your orcish barbarian. It's going to be very interesting when he wild shapes into a ferret and just leaves you all behind. I can't wait. Speaking of which, A-Game.
Well, I guess I'll give one of my favorite moments. It was with Sky and Sereth. Their little creepy little talk amongst themselves while everyone else was drugged to sleep. That was entertaining, I'd say. And as well, finding out that that Miss Tiefling, what was her name again?
Nemea.
Nemela. Yeah, finding her, I have bought into the rock. That it's pretty fucked up, but entertaining. Simply for the visual. So yeah, those are some pretty good moments that I enjoyed.
Bruno.
I quite like the fact that Zoroaster decided to take a nap, because obviously he can't magically be put to sleep just because everybody else was sleeping.
Yeah, I mean technically it was a poison, right? So it wasn't magic.
Still doesn't work. I can't be put to sleep, darling. Can't put me to bed.
No,
I'm a
you are an
rascal.
elf. You are an elf. I had forgotten
Can't
that
put
you
me
two
to
were-
bed.
I forgot
You
about
can't put me to bed.
Elfy bitches, but yeah, whatever.
I didn't care. I was like, everybody's sleeping. I'm not going to be the one that says, actually, I'm awake now.
Yeah, exactly. Storytelling purposes, it didn't really have any practical need.
So for Agame, I really like the fact that you also tried to save some of the NPCs. Not dissing both of you guys who didn't, because I understand. Like, it wouldn't make sense. We need to get the fuck out. All my characters tend to be very goody two shoes, and I'm always trying to save everybody. So it's good to know that somebody else is on the goody two shoes parade.
I don't think Garruk is. I think Garruk's on the what's the most quick and practical and efficient way to deal with this problem.
Well, he didn't need to deal with the stone
Could we
lady.
acid her knees so the drow could be useful?
But he didn't need to, he could have just walked past with, so that was good to see.
The question would be would that still happen if she wasn't a spell user or a spellcaster?
What do you mean?
Would Garruk have still had gone and helped if she wasn't a spell user? That comes down to the morale question.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Morality.
In episode 3 of Nemea's Legs.
In my head, Garruk is an amazing guy.
Yeah, I just can't wait till he leaves you behind. That's gonna be
and I
my
have
moment.
something for you as well, James. Obviously with Sky was a gossip and Octavian, I love our little interactions. It's really good to see someone that's like very up-nosed with Zoroaster, who's very down-nosed.
Yeah.
But for James, what I really liked was the fact that every NPC that we tried to save wasn't down to, no, you can't. It was down to, how are you going to do this? Is it reasonable? And then he made us roll for it, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I really enjoyed feeling like I could genuinely have saved all of these people if I used the correct way about it.
Except Jim.
I like that.
Except Jim.
I really like that.
Poor Jim.
Yeah, but I wasn't really.
I was honestly, I went through the
left.
character sheet of from Out of the Abyss. So some of these characters from Out of the Abyss, and some of them I've written myself, and I'm hoping that it's not distinguishable which ones are which. But I didn't like Jim Jar's whole like random bets on like which corridor was right and stuff. And I just thought that's gonna get really annoying really quickly. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna cook in episode 1. And Jamal, who co-writes with me, was like, episode 1, and I was like, yeah. So you were never saving Jim Jar, but yeah, in general, it's always going to be debating: is the NPC a liability? Are they going to take too long to save? Are they going to cause you a problem by being with them? Like, it's always going to be those sorts of questions. It's never going to be like, they're dead. Apart from the crowd.
Please keep throwing them our way, because that was fucking fantastic. I loved it.
Well, it'll be you guys soon that you have to decide whether to save or not. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Josh, your MVP.
My MVP is when we were in the water trying to break our shackles, and Topsy Turvy was coming over to us, and Bruno just mutters under his breath, "Really, these two fucks?"
Poor Turvy. I genuinely, if I hadn't have made a mistake earlier in the session, I would have left them both alive. But I made an error, and I needed to fix that problem before it stopped being interesting.
Oh, James, it created such a great point now, because I'm so invested in the fact that she lost her sibling, which to me is like, what would happen if I lost mine?
It was going to happen at another point, right? But I couldn't do it at another point because I fucked up and I spoiled something in advance.
It was great.
So I was like, fuck it, we'll leave it. We'll just kill him off. And also I love the idea of drinking acid. I think that's such a gruesome way to die. I love gruesome ways to die in D&D. How about beautiful. So I've got a couple of MVPs. It may have seemed like you couldn't fail this escape. Actually, you could fail this escape almost instantly. Bruno, you were number 1 for if you guys didn't start trying to break the chains. Without breaking the chains, you never would have got out. You needed to break the chains specifically of the NPCs who could cast magic. Blowing the whistle. If you didn't blow the whistle, Octavian, nothing happened. They would have just chased you and knocked you out. But also like a really sort of, I don't know if you guys even realized it was happening, but like I thought you would try and fight the guards with the quagons, at which point you would have all been knocked out, left unconscious, and we would have woken up in the cell the following day.
Well, I definitely would have tried if I saw that there was a winning side, but
I was very much in for you, like, well, we can overwhelm them with all of us. I was really looking forward to that, like you guys finding them and then waking up in the cell the following day. But it's cool. You took your opportunity, and of course it meant that you escaped with the most loot possible.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really now looking forward to it becoming that dark, haunting, mysterious, the Underdark campaign. It was never about escaping from the drow. It was about surviving in the Underdark. So that's where we are now, which is great. And I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I think, Bruno, I'm not going to lie, you're my MVP today for a reason that normally annoys me. So you mentioned, like, I always say goody two-shoes characters. Bruno, you often try and do things that I think are feasibly impossible. You want to save everyone and make everything work and be the best and change everyone's views and make everything okay. And sometimes the DM, that's really irritating. Like, it's like, no, that's just not possible, Cue, like, Natasha at the ball, right? Shouting at everybody and everybody just looking at her like, no. But actually today, your desperation to save people made every moment more tense. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more of it. And hopefully we're going to see you get really, really angry when you keep failing to save things.
Oh, not if Sky says let's go, because then it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, but I want to see how he copes with losing everyone. Also, Darth's remarked, is anybody else liking him more at this point, was when Sareth was hacking off his girlfriend's legs. I was liking him more. So yeah, that's where we're going to end. If you guys would like to say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You can level up. We'll see you soon.
You realize we're XP based, right?